Welcome to the Coach May Show. We winning! And do not apologize for it. Covered it. Confidence, composure, class. The setback leads.
Hello, I'm Jason Mays, the owner of Cognitecture LLC. Cognitecture is a business that I started after being a client of more than one mental performance coach over the years. I always found value in mental performance coaching, whether it was with my most recent coach, Ben Newman, or before that, Kevin Elko, before that, Jason Selk, all masterminds in the field of sports performance and mental performance. I always found great value in those coaching sessions, and it just kept my edges sharp. And so when I stepped away from coaching basketball in December of 25, it was time for me to start something that I've been wanting to start for a long time, which is a mental performance coaching business. Thus, Cognitecture was started. The name, it's a mouthful. I get that. But if you think of our cognitive ability to design our own thinking and how that can set us up in life for elite and peak performance, that's important. Also understanding that we can be the own mental architects of how we think. So I merged the word cognitive with architecture to form Cognitecture. Cognitecture's mission statement is that we are rooted in faith, we are built by discipline, and we are designed for peak performance. We do everything with confidence, composure, and class. We want our clients to obtain what they want to in life by having confidence. We want them to understand that adversity is going to strike in their life, and that composure doesn't derail your attempt to succeed, but it should intensify your desire to succeed. In class, we're all going to have adversity. No one's going to remember the adversity that strikes, but they're always going to remember how you reacted to the adversity. So that's the background of Cognitecture. And so one of the platforms that we wanted to start was this podcast. My whole life has been about winning, or at least trying to win. Most of it's been about winning basketball games as a basketball coach. But it's also about winning as a husband and in my marriage. It's also about winning as a father with our two children. It's also about winning in my faith walk. It's about winning when I was in business, when I stepped away from coaching for a number of years. And as I stand right now, as a business owner currently. We all have moments in life where we're attacking something and we want to win in that endeavor. I've been attacked for trying to win, sometimes rightfully so. But at the end of the day, winning is part of who I am. Not that I am a winner, it's just that I have spent most of my life in the pursuit of winning. So I've learned a lot about that pursuit. And so I wanted to call this show Win, the Coach May Show. And so we're going to talk about all things winning. So episode 1, we're going to start out, we're going to talk about what winning is not. First thing, winning is not giving it your best shot. Just try hard. Give it your all. Give it the old college try, as they used to say. I think that when you have the attitude, when you go into an endeavor trying to win, and the attitude is, I will win if I just give it my best. I think what that does is it softens your definition of what winning truly is. Now, point 2 is winning's not a score. We're going to get to that in a minute. But when you just try to define winning by giving it your best, It gives you permission to be average. It gives you permission to be common, because you get to define what your best is. And a lot of times we'll lower the standard of what our best is to fit the level of success that we achieved. So I don't like defining winning as just giving it your best. I think that softens your standards. 2, winning is not a score. You can push back on this, sure. Well, in the sports world, we're getting ready to come into the Final Four weekend here for the NCAA tournament. In the sports world, there's a winner, there's a loser. It's defined on the scoreboard. This team had 72 points, this team had 69, the team was 72-1. Football, hockey, soccer, baseball, softball, doesn't matter. Track and field, there's a winner who has the quickest time. I get that. There are metrics involved in winning. But there are times in your life where you can win and not have the win measured in a scoreboard metric. An example would be, there's 2 examples really, but early in my coaching career, we played at the University of Pittsburgh and we played at the University of Louisville. This is back in the day when NCAA teams were no longer allowed to play exhibition games against like foreign national teams, athletes in action teams, and those type of teams, but they were allowed to play non-Division I teams in exhibition games. And so when I was coaching at a small NAIA school here in Kentucky called Georgetown College, we were one of the first programs to jump on board with that because we were one of the better, if not the best, small college program in the country. We had lost in a national championship game in '96. We had won the national championship in '98, lost in the national championship again in 2000. And so there were teams that said we want good non-Division I competition, and so we were one of the obvious choices. In 2003, I think it was, we went to Pittsburgh, we played, and we lost the game by 5 points. ESPN cut late in the game to live coverage because it was such a nip and tuck game, and there was a moment where we had a chance to win in the last 2 minutes. The head coach at Pitt at the time was a young Jamie Dixon who had just taken over. Jamie is now currently the head coach at TCU. It was such a great experience for our guys. Keep in mind that we were an NAIA team. Our goal was to compete for a national championship at the NAIA level. Playing Pittsburgh on the road in a very competitive game was a win for us. Would it have been more of a win if we would have came out on top on the scoreboard? Sure. But there were so many positives to take away from that effort. It helped us make it to the Final Four of our own national tournament later that season. The same thing in a similar example, I think a year or 2 later, when we played at the University of Louisville. Again, we lost by 5. And it was a 1-possession game. They were preseason number 9 in the country. Pitt was preseason number 3 in the country at the time we played them. So these were really good teams, very talented teams. Louisville was coached by Coach Pitino, a Naismith Hall of Famer. Again, we came up short on the scoreboard, but I even think Coach Pitino would say, wow, much respect to that program, those coaches, those players, their game prep. We took so many positive attributes away from that game that it wasn't a loss, it was a win. So winning is not always going to be a score. The third thing that winning is not. Winning is not beating somebody without preparation. So when I was coaching, we used to call this phony hustle. Phony hustle was when a player would dive on the floor, head first into the bleachers or the scores table, and make it look like he or she was playing really hard. Wow, diving on the floor. You would hear crowd applause for the effort. But really, they weren't prepared because they weren't in their position to begin with So they had to react by being out of position, and they dove, they gave phony hustle, and we give up an open three or a layup or a high percentage shot on the back end because they're playing 5-on-4 because one of our players is getting up from the floor. That's not necessarily winning. It may be playing hard, it may be sacrificing your body in the moment, it may be trying to compensate for not being prepared in an aggressive manner, but it's not winning. So when you've had times in your life where you've come out on top, but you realize who you came out on top of was not very prepared, they weren't as talented as you, or they were just as talented as you, but not more so, and you didn't prepare. There's a quote, it's my favorite. The hardest thing in life is to give 100% when less than 100% would have gotten the job done. See, as human beings, we're inclined to only give the amount of exertion towards a winning endeavor that endeavor requires. Why give more than it requires? And so we don't. That's extra work that we don't need to do. Some people would call that efficiency, not me, not in the pursuit of winning. I think that when you go into an endeavor fully prepared, fully ready to give 100%, regardless of your opponent, regardless of the organization that you're going against in business or marketing, regardless of the obstacle that stands in your way. All right? If you're not prepared to attack that at a level of 100%, 10 out of 10, which will require a lot of preparation going into that, and you still come out on top without giving all that effort, with giving a 7 out of 10, with not being prepared, I think it softens your definition of winning. And when you do come against that foe, that adversary, that opponent, that organization, that obstacle that is also prepared and is also talented and is also trying to win, if your definition of winning has been softened by your lack of preparation in previous victories, are you going to be prepared to win that? Probably not. So in review, what winning is not. Number one, winning is not just giving your best. Number two, winning is not a score on a scoreboard, and winning is not beating somebody without preparation. See you next time.
We win it. And do not apologize for it. Comfort it.